we feel very happy, very blessed to be in your association here this evening. Today is the last day of Purushottam Adhik Mas, very auspicious month of their Lordship. So we will sing one bhajan, beautiful bhajan glorifying Lord Shri Krishna, Lord Purushottam. This is Nava Nirada Nindit Kanti Dharam. This is Vrajraj Sudashtakam. So I hope Adhikadadar Prabhu has sent the lyrics to everyone.
I'm just sending it now.
Okay, it's just sending it right now. So I'll also open the lyrics. You may.
Rudy, I'm sending you. You send on the. Oh. Yeah, just put that. Okay. It's in the ISKCON Atlanta WhatsApp group.
Hare Krishna. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami said in Chaitanya Charitamrit, he says, Jayo Shrotagana Shuna Kariye Ka Mana. He says all glories to Shrotas. You know, those who wish to hear about Krishna, they are actually more glorious than those who wish to speak. Right? The Shrotas. He says, Jayo Shrotagan Shuna Kariye Ka Man. All glories to all those who want to hear Krishna Katha. Then he says, Shuna Kariye Ka Man. We will benefit so much if we can hear with attention. So, therefore, I request that we can put our mobile phone in silent mode. It will help us to absorb our mind. And today, as I said, is the last day of Purushottam Adhik Mas. So, you know, if we have not been able to, you know, put extra effort in this Adhik Mas, we can compensate today by absorbing ourselves for next 1 or 2 hours in hearing, glorifying the Supreme Lord. So I hope you have the lyrics, right? This is Vrajraj Sudashtakam, the official name, and the song begins Nava Nirada Nindit Kanti Dharam. So please sing behind me. We'll sing this beautiful bhajan. Nava Nirada Nindita Kanti Dharam Rasa Sagar Nagara Bhupavaram. Nava Nirada Nindita Kanti Dharam Rasa Sagar Nagara Bhupavaram. Shubhavam Kimacharu Shikhanda Shikham Bhaja Krishna Nidham Braja Rajasutam. Shubhavam Kimacharu Shikhanda Shikham Bhaja Krishna Nidham Braja Rajasutam. Ruvisham Kitavam Kima Shakradhanum Mukha Chandra Vinindita Koti Vidum. Mridu Manda Suhasya Subhashya Yutam Bhaja Krishna Nidham Braja Rajasutam. Mridu Manda Suhasya Subhashya Yutam Bhaja Krishna Nidham Braja Rajasutam. Suvikam Padanam Dasa Dangadharam Brajavasi Manohara क्लेशकरम् वृषलाञ्छितनीलसरोजदृशं भज कृष्णनिधिं व्रज राजसुतम् अलकावलिमण्डित भालतटं श्रुतिदोलितमातर कुण्डलकम् कटिवेष्टितपीतपटं सुधटं भज कृष्णनिधिं व्रज राजसुतम् कलनूपुरराजित चारुपदं मणिरञ्जित गञ्जित भृङ्गमदम् ध्वजवज्रझशाङ्कितपादयुगं भज कृष्णनिधिं भज राजसुतम् वृषचन्दनचर्चित चारुतनं मणिकाष्ठबर्हित भानुतलम् व्रजबालशिरोमणिरूपधृतं भज कृष्णनिधिं भज राजसुतम् सुरवृन्दसुवन्द्यमुकुन्दहरिं पुरनाथ शिरोमणि सर्वगुरुम् गिरिधारि मुरारि पुरारि परं भज कृष्णनिधिं व्रज राजसुतम् वृषभानुसुतावर केलिपरं रसराज शिरोमणि वेषधरम् जगदीश्वरमीश्वरमीड्यमनं भज कृष्णनिधिं व्रज राजसुतम् भज कृष्णनिधिं व्रज राजसुतं भज कृष्णनिधिं व्रज राजसुतं कृष्णनिधिं व्रज राजसुतं ब्रज कृष्णनिधिं ब्रजराजसुतं ब्रज कृष्णनिधिं ब्रजराजसुतं जय श्री श्री वज्रासुतष्टकम की जय। Hare Krishna. We will chant the invocation prayers. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta-padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarupesha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Paritanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dear devotees, thank you very much for your kind association this evening. We are indeed very fortunate to have the association of two exalted sadhus, His Grace Radha Gopinath Prabhu and His Grace Damodar Prabhu. Let us welcome them by 3 times loudly chanting Hari Hari Hari. Both of them do not need any introduction, but for my purification, I will give a brief introduction. Their detailed bio has been shared on the WhatsApp group by Jagannath Krishna Prabhu. So, His Grace Radha Gopinath Prabhu, he joined the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, in the year 1988. And for the last so many decades, he has been faithfully serving Srila Prabhupada. By professional training, Radha Gopinath Prabhu is a speech therapist and speech and hearing specialist from Mysore. And after coming to Krishna consciousness, he very quickly took up the service of spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. Prabhuji travels to so many places, spreading the beauty of Krishna consciousness, transforming lives. And Prabhuji, Radha Gopinath Prabhuji is very well known for his journey of self-discovery course.
Succession.
And Prabhuji told me something very, very interesting about the journey of self-discovery. I was looking for Amarendra Prabhu when Radha Gopinath Prabhu was telling me this. Actually, I will hand over the microphone to Radha Gopinath Prabhu because I want Radha Gopinath Prabhu to tell us. Everybody has attended the journey of self-discovery course?
Yes.
Huh? So, now please hear from Radha Gopinath Prabhu what it is based on. Amarendra Prabhu, you will love this. What that course is based on. Please, it was so... Afterwards? Okay, sure. It is simply mind-blowing what it is based on. It is so scientifically designed, based on some very beautiful sutras. So Radha Gopinath Prabhu is very well known for that. He is also very well known for conducting these devotee care seminars. And our Damodar Prabhu, he is BTech and MTech from IIT. And giving up a very lucrative career, Damodar Prabhu has been serving for the last so many decades as a monk, as a brahmachari in Radha Gopinath Mandir, along with Radha Gopinath Prabhu. And Damodar Prabhu teaches the Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, teachers training course, devotee care course at Govardhan Eco Village, affiliated to Bhaktivedanta Vidyapith. And he is very well known for those classes that he teaches. And Prabhuji also is a very expert in mega kitchens and in the yatra kitchens and in the midday meals, also serving prasadam to thousands of devotees in Kumbh Mela. All these services Damodar Prabhu has been doing. And Radha Gopinath Prabhu and Damodar Prabhu, they travel all over teaching this devotee care seminar. And that's what they will be doing in Atlanta, but in a very condensed way. And I have requested them in the future they can come and teach it over 3 days. It's a 21-hour course. So it's 8 hours, 8 hours and 5 hours like that. So hopefully in the future they will teach us in Atlanta. So this is a very brief introduction, but the detailed introduction has been shared. You can please go through it. Now I hand over the microphone to Radha Gopinath Prabhu and Damodar Prabhu. And there is no time limit. Everyone has been well fed. So it can go on for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. If some devotees have to leave, please feel free. You can leave. Humble request to keep your cell phones on silent or vibrator. And the weather is good, so there's a lawn behind. The kids can play there, so that there is quiet and peace when the class is going on. Okay? Everybody's okay with that? Haribo! Thank you. Now I hand over to Radha Gopinath Prabhu and Damodar Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Praise Radha Gopinath Prabhu ki Jai! Praise Damodar Prabhu ki Jai!
Keep it. Hare Krishna. As Adigadar Prabhu. Adigadar Prabhu? Hare Krishna. As Adigadar Prabhu introduced Radha Gopinath Prabhu, he was hearing and speech pathologist. That means Shravanam and Kirtanam pathologist. Right? So that's what he has been doing. So we are extremely grateful to Adigadar Prabhu, Her Grace Radha Bhav Mataji, also to Amrendra Prabhu and his good wife Swastika Devi, that they are hosting us, all of us here today in this auspicious month of Purushottam Adhik Mas. Especially, we are already feeling such an overwhelming hospitality, so homely at this very place. So very grateful to both of them and to all of you. Especially to the weekday, you all have come this evening. Tomorrow is also a working day. Today is also a working day. So thank you for taking out your time to encourage us. When devotees assemble in large number, we also feel encouraged to share something. And looking outside, it looks like just 5 p.m. in India. This kind of light is like, it's already 8, but it seems like it's 5 p.m. or so. In India, 8 o'clock is like quite dark. So, we will recite. Actually, the topic of today's discussion was head knowledge to heart knowledge. I'm saying the topic of today's discussion was because I just somehow strongly felt, coming here, seeing the beautiful form of Radha Shyam Sundar and Vishbhanu, Nandini and Shri Krishna, Radha Raman and Radha Gopinath. Radha Gopinath. So, and today Purushottam Mass also. So, I thought I'll speak something about Lord Krishna and Vrindavan today. And since Purushottam Mass also. So, yeah, so we'll recite one verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. You can repeat behind me. And CC verses are so simple and sweet that the children, first grade, second grade children, I have seen that they memorize the verse in just 3 to 4 recitations. They recite the verse 3 to 4 times without displaying anywhere. And in 3 to 4 recitations, the verse is memorized. And this is Mahaprabhu's mercy also, right? Mahavadanyaya. So there is a lot of mercy in these verses also. We can easily memorize the verse compared to other verses of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So you can try yourself. So we'll recite this verse and try to memorize it in 3 or 4 recitations. So please repeat behind me. Then I'll explain the meaning. First we'll recite, I'll explain the meaning, and we'll recite again. Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan. Krishna Yaha Dhanitaha Vrindavana Dham. So, Parama Purushottam Swayam Bhagavan. Very simple, Param Purushottam, this is Purushottam Adhik Maas, the Supreme Purushottam, the best of the Purushas. Swayam Bhagavan, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the source of all other avatars of the Lord, Swayam Bhagavan. So Param Purushottam Swayam Bhagavan. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, basically, the first line. And the second line, Krishna Yaha Dhani Taha Vrindavana Dham. Where Krishna is most wealthy or where he displays maximum wealth, that is Vrindavan Dham. Usually we think, Vaikuntha is where he displays, great opulence, great wealth. And Vrindavan means, simplicity. Simple village, eco village, Vrindavan. So green village, so like that. So we may equate Vrindavan with that. But Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Krishna Yaha Dhani Taha Vrindavan Dham. The highest wealth is displayed in Vrindavan Dham. The greatest opulence is displayed in Vrindavan Dham. So Parama Purushottam Swayam Bhagavan, Krishna Yaha Dhani Taha Vrindavan Dham. Let's recite the verse, and as I said, we will try to memorize the verse. Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan. Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan. Krishna Yaha Dhani Taha Vrindavana Dham. Krishna Yaha Dhani Taha Vrindavana Dham. Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan. Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan. Krishna Yaha Dhani Taha Vrindavana Dham. Krishna Yaha Dhani Taha Vrindavana Dham. Okay, once again we'll recite, and then I will like someone amongst you to recite with your eyes closed. So you can project this verse on the screen of your heart, and then with eyes closed, recite from there. Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan. Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan. Krishna Yaha Dhani Taha Vrindavana Dham. Krishna Yaha Dhani Taha Vrindavana Dham. Okay, so yes, who would like to try? Okay, so Radha Gopinath Prabhu.
Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan.
Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan.
Krishna Jaha Dhani Taha Vrindavana Dham.
Krishna Jaha Dhani Taha Vrindavana
Let's say loud Hari Bol. Hari Bol. So whoever will recite the words, who has memorized by heart, kanthasth, whoever recites, we will applaud. Right? We will show our appreciation. And Vaishnava should be very generous in appreciation. Okay? So therefore, we will loudly give our applause. Okay, yes. So Radha Gopinath was already. Yes, Mataji, please.
Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan. Krishna jahan dhani tahan Vrindavan dham. Krishna jahan dhani tahan Vrindavan dham.
Hari Bol! Actually, we can do much louder. Should be very generous in showing appreciation. Doesn't cost anything. And the best gift we can give to somebody to appreciate them. Doesn't cost anything. Yes, so we'll have other devotees. Yes, Adhikadar Prabhu.
Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan.
Parama
Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan.
Krishna jaha dhani taha Vrindavana dham.
Krishna
dhani taha Vrindavana dham.
Hari Bol! Yes, Hare Krishna. Mataji behind and then here yourself. Yes.
Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan.
Krishna
jahan dhani taha Vrindavana dham.
Hari Bol! Yes.
Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan.
Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan.
Krishna jahan dhani taha Vrindavan dham.
Krishna jahan dhani taha Vrindavana dham.
Hari Bol! Okay, there was one more hand raised this side and then we can have some Prabhus also recite. As Matajis have won the game, the match.
Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan.
Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan.
Krishna jahan dhani taha Vrindavan dham.
Krishna
dhani taha Vrindavana dham.
Hari Bol! Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan.
Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan.
Krishna Yaha Danita Vrindavana Dham.
Krishna
Danita Vrindavana dham.
Hari Bol! Yes, we can have. Okay, yes, Prabhu.
Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan.
Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan.
Krishna yaha dhani taha Vrindavana dham.
Krishna yaha dhani taha Vrindavana dham.
Hari Bol! Yes, Mataji. Yeah.
Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan.
Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan.
Krishna yaha dhani taha Vrindavana dham.
Hari Bol! Yes, okay, yes, Mataji.
Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan.
Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan.
Krishna yaha dhani taha Vrindavana dham.
Krishna yaha dhani taha Vrindavana dham.
Hari Bol! Amarendra Prabhu would like to recite. He wants to give others a chance. We would like to hear from him.
I was not sure if I will remember.
You'll be able to. Yes.
Parama Purushottama Swayam Bhagavan.
Parama Purushottama Swayam
Right? So devotees received maximum joy by hearing your recitation. Hare Krishna. So, yeah, so as described that how the most opulent, the most wealthy place is Sri Vrindavan Dham. So this bhajan actually describes the wealth of Vrindavan, the bhajan which we just sang. I'll briefly speak on one verse from Brahmaji's prayer and then explain this bhajan. So, Brahmaji describes the wealth of Vrindavan in his very first prayer. Brahmaji sees the opulence of Vrindavan. First he considered Vrindavan to be an ordinary place, but then Lord Krishna revealed to him the true glory of Vrindavan, and then with full realization Lord Brahmaji recited those beautiful prayers in the chapter 14, the 10th canto. In the very first verse, Brahmaji describes the wealth of Vrindavan Dham by speaking, Naumidyate abravapuse taditambaraya gunjavatam saparipichala sanmukhaya vanyasrijaye kavala vetru vishana venum lakshma shriye mridupade pashupangajaya. So very beautiful verse. Lord Brahma compares and he offers his obeisances to this beautiful form of the Lord first. Naumidyate abravapuse. His form is like a blackish rain cloud. And taditambaraya. The clothes are like a shining lightning. Especially lightning over the black background shines forth much more. So, when there is a good contrast over the black, the bright yellow shines forth. Similarly, Krishna's pastime shines forth very brilliantly in this material world. Like this Bhaum Vrindavan is not different from Goloka Vrindavan. But Vishnuji Thakur describes there is one speciality of Bhaum Vrindavan over Goloka Vrindavan. Because this Bhaum Vrindavan is a dark place. And Krishna's pastime are very brilliant. Therefore, his pastime shine forth even more. Although they are same. Right? The bright yellow color is same, but you keep the bright yellow color over white and keep it bright yellow color over the black background. The same bright yellow color or any object will shine forth more. Just बोलते हैं उठके आएगा ऐसा. Right? In Hindi we say like that. So the bright yellow color shines forth more. So therefore Krishna's pastime, they shine forth more brilliantly in this dark material world. Okay, so that's another speciality of the Lord's pastime in Bhaum Vrindavan. So Naumidyate abravapuse, his blackish complexion, and then taditambaraya, this brilliant yellow garment shine forth very brilliantly. Naumidyate abravapuse taditambaraya gunjavatam saparipichala sanmukhaya. So Krishna is wearing this gunja, earrings, gunja. What is this gunja? Earrings. Gunja, if you see gunja, usually they are simple berries, they grow on plant. In Govardhan Eco Village, we have some bushes where we grow gunja berries. Black and red from outside. And if you break this gunja berry, it is light yellow from inside. So therefore that black color represents Krishna. And the yellow color represents Radharani. And the red color is the color of Anurag, their love.
Hari Hari.
Okay, so this gunja berry is actually Radha and Krishna and their love for each other, the Anurag between them. So Gunjavatam, this is Gunja, lowly berry of Vrindavan. Gunjavatam, Krishna is wearing, is decorating his ears with this Gunja's berry. Vishnu Thakur says, these gunja berries are more valuable, more precious than all the jewels of Vaikuntha. It just grows here and there, so many places, gunja berries, but they are more precious, more valuable than all the brilliant gems of Vaikuntha. Gunja Vatams. Paripicha lasan mukhaya. And just see the peacock feather, which when the peacocks they go around here and there, they just drop this peacock feather. That means peacock feather is freely available. We may have to buy from a shop, but otherwise, usually, in Vrindavan, in so many places, it's just available. You can pick it up. But thing that is just fallen on the ground, which is very lowly, Krishna gives that lowly peacock feather the highest position. Right? He puts it on his crown. So that's the nature of Krishna Leela. The lowly things becomes very elevated. Similarly, by coming in touch, our life may also have been just very lowly, but it becomes very precious, becomes very valuable by coming in touch with Krishna consciousness. So the Gunjavatam Saparipicha Lasan Mukhaya, and Krishna's Lasan Mukhaya, his face is shining forth brilliantly. Gunjavatam Saparipicha Lasan Mukhaya Vanyasrije Kavala Vetra Vishana Venum. So Krishna is wearing the Vanyasrije is all the flowers and the leaves of Vrindavan, is a garland, Vanamala. And again Vishwanath Thakur says, these forests, these local leaves and flowers, they are much more valuable than the Parijata flowers of the heavens. Manyasrije Kavala Vetra Vishana Venum Lakshmayashriye Vidupade Pashupangaja. In this way the form Brahmaji continues to glorify the beautiful form of the Lord, his soft lotus feet, his having curd rice in his hand, a buffalo horn, a beautiful form. And so this beautiful form is the great wealth of Vrindavan. So Krishna yaha dhani taha Vrindavan naam. So what kind of dhan is there in Vrindavan? First of all, we discussed that how the lowly things are also actually much superior to any other wealth, of what to speak of material world, even of Vaikuntha. And then even the greater than that is actually the wealth of Krishna's own beauty and Krishna's devotees and the loving reciprocation. That is the true wealth of Vrindavan Dham. So this bhajan continues on the same theme, Navanirada Nindita Kanti Dharam. The common stanza is Bhaj Krishna Nidhim Vrajaraj Sutam. Bhaj Krishna Nidhim. So Vrajaraj is the king of Vraja, who is Nanda Maharaj. So in the king has a treasury. What is the highest wealth? What is the most precious jewel in Nanda Maharaj treasury? Krishna jewel. So let's worship Krishna jewel, right? Krishna, or who is the most precious jewel in the treasury of the king of Vraja, Nanda Maharaj. We want to worship this jewel in his treasury. So that is Bhaja Krishna Nidhim Vrajaraj Sutam. So I'll explain the meaning of the stanza, and we'll once again sing that stanza, and we'll just complete this bhajan. And then I'll request Radha Gopinath to further speak. So Navanirad Nindita Kanti Dharam. The Nirad is a rain cloud, now is freshly formed rain cloud. So Krishna's complexion, it mocks or it defeats the beauty of freshly formed rain cloud. Yeah? So therefore his name is Ghanasham also. But actually it's described that it defeats. That means there is no comparison actually. There is no comparison. This comparison is given because, we need some comparison. We need some comparison. Actually, otherwise the comparison would be an insult to the Lord in one sense, because nothing compares to that supreme beauty. But still, when we compare, because this is the best we can describe in our experience, we need some experience. Therefore, Krishna accepts that comparison out of his causeless mercy. So, therefore, this comparison is given, but his beauty far excels the freshly formed rain cloud. Navaniradaninde, the Kanti Dharam. Kanti is his Lord's complexion. And this, so the Lord's complexion is being compared to cloud. But this cloud shower forth the rain, two kind of rain. For ordinary people, it is cooling rain. The people who are suffering by tapatraya, they feel relief by the mercy of the Lord. They can find relief. And the second rain, which is showered by the Krishna cloud, is nectar rain. Right? So there is a cooling rain which gives relief. But to the devotees, it is nectar rain. It fills their heart with great joy, great rasasagar, great loving mellows. And thus Krishna is described rasasagar, he is the ocean of ecstatic mellows, and he showers that nectar rain upon his devotees. And he is Nagar Bhupavaram. He is the best among the king of the paramours. And Shubha Vankima Charu Shikhanda Shikham Bhaja Krishna Nidhim Brajaraj Sutam. So Shubha Vankima Charu Shikhand is a peacock feather. His peacock feather is slightly tilted towards left. Right? And and this is very auspicious. Therefore, peacock feather is teaching us that peacock feather tilting to the left is described in one Shukasari Samvad. I'll just read the verse for your pleasure. This Shukasari Samvad describes that, just a minute. So, there is always a competition between Shuka and Sari. Sari glorifies Radharani and Shuka glorifies Krishna. So Shuka says, Shuka bale amar Krishnera chuda ba me hele. Shuka says, look, Sari, look at the beauty of my Krishna. His beautiful crown is slightly tilted towards left. It's looking so beautiful. And his crown is slightly tilted towards left. Shuka bale amar Krishnera chuda ba me hele. Sari bale amar Radha charan pabe bale. बोले वो जो लेफ्ट में थोड़ा tilted, that is offering pranam to Radha Rani's lotus feet. Right? So therefore, Shubha Vankima Charu Shikhanda Shikham. That means the Lord's peacock feather, which is slightly tilted towards the left, is telling us that all auspiciousness lies at Radharani's lotus feet. Right? Shubha is auspicious. So therefore, Radharani's lotus feet are the source of all auspiciousness. So this is the first stanza.
Vedic way of hats off.
Vedic way of hats off.
I hope you all heard what Prabhuji said. Right? So the Shikhanda Shikham is teaching the Vedic way of hats off. Okay, so now that we know the meaning, we'll sing this first stanza and then go to second stanza. Together we can sing actually. Navanirada nindita kantidaram rasa sagara nagara upavaram shubhavam kimacharu shikhanda shikham bhaja krishna nidhim brajaraj. Once more. Navanirada nindita kantidaram rasa sagara nagara upavaram shubhavam kimacharu shikhanda shikham bhaja krishna nidhim brajaraj sukam. Yeah. So we'll go to the second verse. So second verse describes Bhru Vishankita Vankima Shakra Dhanum. Shakra is Lord Indra. What is his Dhanum? His bow? The rainbow. Rainbow is the Shakra Dhanum. Indradhanush. So Krishna's eyebrows are described as that Indradhanush, that rainbow. Bhru Vishankita Vankim, and they are slightly arched. So Vishankit means so Krishna's eyebrows are like bow, and they Vishankit means they relieve us from all kind of fear. Bhagavatam also describes this particular siddhant in the verse Hasam Hare Ravanita Akhil Lokatibra Shokashru Sagar Vishoshana Matyudara Sammohanaya Rachitam Nijamaya Yasya Bhrumandalam Munikrite Makaradhvajasya. So to give fearless to the munis, to the sages, Lord has manifested his beautiful eyebrows. So when we meditate on Krishna's eyebrows, we will become fearless of Shakra Dhanum or the Cupid, the bow of the Cupid shoot arrows. So meditating on Krishna's beautiful eyebrows, his beautiful form, will actually remove all kind of lust from within our hearts. It will give us fearlessness. And then Krishna's Mukha Chandra Vinandita Koti Vidhum. The Lord's moon-like face, Mukha Chandra Vinandit, it belittles, it mocks at Koti Vidhum, millions of moons. So therefore we call the Lord as Krishna Chandra, Lord Chaitanya Chandra, Vrindavan Chandra. Right? So in this way the Lord's his face is beautiful like that of a moon. Vrindavan Das Thakur says when the comparison is given to moon, not Vrindavan Das Thakur, Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur says the comparison to moon has three significance, or 3 points of significance. When the Lord's face is compared to moon, what is the effect of moon? Antaradhvanta Sayam Samasta Jagatam. Moon, when moon rises, it removes all darkness of the night. Full moon you can see. It removes all darkness. What does it do? Second thing, full moon. Premananda. So it gives rise to the high tidal waves. On the full moon day, there are high tides. So there is a high tidal waves of ecstatic love that rises in the heart when the full moon of Krishna Chandra, Vrindavan Chandra rises. And the third is Vishwam Sheetalantativa Vikalam. The world which is suffering because of miseries, they find a great cooling sensation. So the darkness is destroyed, there is an upsurge of ecstasy, and there is cooling sensation when the full moon rises. So therefore, when we worship and we focus on the full moon of Krishna, these are the 3 effects which we receive. So therefore, Lord's beautiful face is described as Mukha Chandra. And on that Mukha Chandra, his smile is like the rays of the moon, which are described here as very soft and very enchanting. And also his face is also adorned with the very pleasing speech. The pleasing speech emanates from his moon-like face, and also the soft radiant smile emanates from Lord's moon-like face. So in this way the Lord's eyebrows, which gives us fearlessness, the beauty of his moon-like face, and the soft radiant smile and the gentle speech is being glorified in this verse 2. We'll sing the verse 2 now. Bhruveshankitavam kimachakradhanam Mukha Chandra Vinindita Koti Vidham Mridu Manda Suhasya Subhashayutam Bhajan Krishna Nidhim Brajaraja Sudam Bhruveshankitavam Kimachakradhanam
वक्रधरं मुखचन्द्रविनिन्दितकोटिविधं मृदुमन्दसुहास्य सुभाषयुतं भज कृष्णनिधिं व्रजराजसुतम्.
So, this beautiful Mridu Manda Suhasya, his very soft smile, shakes up, the Cupid starts shivering in fear. So, though the Lord's smile is very soft, but it is so enchanting that the Cupid starts shaking in fear. That's how the next verse begins, the third verse. So it describes Suvikampad Ananga Sadanga Dharam. Krishna's beautiful limbs, his beautiful face makes the Cupid profusely tremble. Or Krishna's limbs trembling in ecstatic love himself constitutes the true form of Ananga. These are the two meanings of the line 1. Suvikampad Ananga Sadanga Dharam. So though Krishna manifests his beautiful form which makes the Cupid tremble, but actually he doesn't, that's not the main reason for manifesting this beautiful form. The main reason is Brajavali Shiromani Brajavasi Manohara Vaishakaram. He wants to attract the heart of Brajavasi. It's for their pleasure the Lord manifests this beautiful form. And then Vrishalanchita Neela Saroj Drisham. And specially beautiful are his eyes which are compared to Neela Saroj, blue lotus. So we have heard the comparison of the lotus. Lotus is a sign of beauty, prosperity, good fortune. So therefore the Lord's beautiful limbs are compared to lotus. But here in the eyes are compared to the blue lotus. Blue lotus is actually also very cooling. So therefore the Lord's eyes, the glance which emanates, that is not just a beautiful glance, but also it gives cooling to those who are burning, or it removes the burning of separation from the hearts of his devotees. So in this way, his eyes are compared to blue lotuses. We'll recite the verse 3. Suvikampadanga sadanga brajavasi manohara veshakaram vrishalanchitani lasaroja drisham bhaja krishna nidhim brajarajasutam. Suvikampadanga sadanga dharam Brajavasi manohara veshakaram vrishalanchitani lasaroja drisham bhaja krishna nidhim brajarajasutam. So the author continues to describe this beautiful form. In the next verse he says Alakavali Mandita Bhalatatam. The first 4 verses are glorifying his lotus-like face primarily. So there are beautiful curls. Alakavali Mandita Bhalatatam. So beautiful broad forehead of the Lord. And then there are beautiful curls he has. Now these curls almost cover his ears. But then there are sharp-shaped earrings. When they sway, they reveal his beautiful ears, which are otherwise covered by these beautiful locks. So Krishna is always wearing Makara Kundal. And Makar is sometimes translated as shark, sometimes as crocodile. So Makar is a sea animal which has a jaw of a crocodile, scales of fish, and a tail of a peacock. It's a hybrid, actually it's a different species altogether. It's neither a shark nor a crocodile. It is a hybrid of 3 animals, like it has the features of the 3 animals. So we got the scales of fish, sometimes described as shark. It has the jaw of a crocodile, so described as crocodile. But it's a unique sea animal in itself, Makara. So Krishna wears this Makara Kundal always, which reveals his beautiful ears, which are otherwise covered by beautiful locks. And also Kati Veshtita Pita Patam Sudatam, and Krishna's hip is tightly covered. The devotees tie a cloth around his hip, and his hip, he's standing in three form, bending form, and especially the tilt at his hip, when you tie a beautiful cloth, it also looks very beautiful, it stands out. So the tighter the cloth, the more beautiful the Lord's hip stands out. So therefore, like Gopinath, the pujaris really want to tie the cloth tight. Right? So it's mentioned here, Kati Veshtita Pita Patam Sudhatam. Sudhatam means tightly. So the cloth is wrapped around Krishna's waist tightly. That makes his waist very beautiful. So the Lord's lock, his beautiful earrings, and the waist cloth, the beauty of his waist is described in this particular verse 4. We'll sing this verse again. Alakavali mandita alakatam shruti dolita makara kundalakam kati vestita pita patam sudatam bhaja krishna nidhi brajaraja sutam avali mandita alakatam Shruti Golita Makara Kundalakam Kati Vestita Pita Patam Sudatam Bhaja Krishna Nidhi Brajaraja Sutam. Okay, so from his face, the author came down to his waist and now goes to his lotus feet in the fifth verse. So then in the fifth verse, the beauty of the Lord's lotus feet, which are illuminated by the soft tinkling ankle bells. So Kala Nupur, Kala Dhwani, it's a soft tinkling dhwani. Even the flowing of a river produces a very soft Kala Dhwani, which is many, those who are psychologists and other therapists, they give a sound treatment. There is sound therapy nowadays. They make you hear this Kala Dhwani so that your stress goes away. Right? So, but Krishna's soft tinkling ankle bells produce that same Kala Dhwani. Right? So, one who can hear that Kala Dhwani, eternally that person will become stress free. So, Kala Nupura Rajit Charu Padam. So, this beautiful ankle bells, there are small gems. Now just imagine around Krishna's ankle bells, there are many small gems. So these small gems, they are illuminating his lotus feet, the lighting effect. So his lotus feet are beautifully illuminated by these small gemstones. And when Krishna is moving, these small gemstones are also swaying and also producing Kala Dhwani. They are swaying also and also producing Kala Dhwani. Therefore, that is described by the author here as Mani Ranjit Ganjit Bhringamadam. Just like these small gemstones are like the Bhringamadam, the maddened bees. The Krishna lotus feet, there are so many bees who are swarming around his lotus feet. So these small gemstones look like those maddened bees who are moving and also producing the humming. So that the moving, the tinkling, soft tinkling is like the humming of the bumblebees described. And Krishna's, the sole of his lotus feet are marked with Dhwaja, Vajra, Jashankit, Padayugam, a flag, thunderbolt, fish, and so on. So there are total 19 symbols at the soles of the Lord Krishna lotus feet. By mentioning these three, all are indicated. Right? So therefore, the soft tinkling ankle bells which illuminate his lotus feet, which are like the maddened bees, gently swaying and humming, and his lotus feet are marked with this auspicious symptom. Dhoja describes that the devotees will be victorious. Vajra describes that they will be able to overcome the mountain of anartha, just like the Vajra breaks the mountain. So each symbol has its significance. Right? So therefore, prosperity, there is a Bale Kon which describes prosperity for the devotees. So the devotees will be victorious, they will be prosperous, there will be all good fortune for you. This assurance is given by Krishna's lotus feet. So we will, meditating on Krishna's lotus feet, we will sing this verse 5. Kalano Purarajita Charupadam Maniranjita Ganjita Vrindavanam Dhaja Vajra Jasa Kita Padayugam Bhaja Krishna Nidhim Brajaraja Sudam Kalano Purarajita Charupadam Maniranjita Ganjita Vrindavanam Vaja Vajra Jasa Kita Padayugam Vaja Krishna Nidhim Brajaraja Sudam. So, also we can see how the Lord's lotus feet are decorated with marks of beautiful chandan. In fact, his entire body is decorated with the sandalwood. And in Vrindavan, we can see various deities, the sandalwood decoration. It is called Patravali. The word is Patravali. They do, and in Radha Shamsundar temple, they do it openly. In front of, you can see that the pujaris are doing the chandan painting on the face of Shamsundar in Radha Shamsundar Mandir. So, Vrishachandana Charachita Charutanam. Amarendra Prabhu was saying he would also do the sandalwood painting around his Shaligram Shila, Shri Krishna for a few hours. So it's also a very great absorption to paint the beautiful form of the Lord with chandan. Vrishachandana Charachita Charutanam. So his form, which is beautiful, is further beautified by the intelligence of his devotees. They describe devotees very intelligently, they paint, they draw beautiful flowers and so many decorations on Krishna's beautiful face. And then Mani Kaustubh Garahit Bhanutunam. He is decorated with brilliant Kaustubh gem, whose splendor outshines even that of sun. So the Kaustubh Mani, which decorates the Lord's beautiful form, it outshines the sun. And Vrajabala Shiromani Rupa Dhritam. In this way, Krishna's beauty is the crest jewel among the young cowherd boys of Vraja. So the beauty of the sandalwood decoration, the costume jewel is described, and this way Krishna as a cowherd boy, his beauty shines forth. We'll sing verse 6. Vrisha Chandana Charchita Charutanam Mani Kaustubha Garhita Bhanutanam Rajabala Shiromani Rupa Dhritam Bhaja Krishna Nidhim Brajaraja Sudam. Vrisha Chandana Charchita Charutanam Mani Kaustubha Garhita Bhanutanam Rajabala Shiromani Rupa Dhritam Bhaja Krishna Nidhim Brajaraja Sudam. So, describing this beautiful Vrindavan form of the Lord, the author says, this form is thus most worshipable. Suru Vrinda Suvandya. Suvandya is most worshipable by all the groups of the devatas. So all the devatas, they worship this beautiful form of the Lord. and who is Mukunda and who is Harim. So the great sages, the devatas worship this form for what? Harim means who steal away all inauspiciousness. So the devatas worship this form because they land up into many inauspicious situations. Therefore they worship this form. And the Lord steal away inauspiciousness. The sages who desire liberation, they worship Mukunda to steal away material existence. So this beautiful form steal away all inauspiciousness, it steal away material existence. But the devotees worship this form so that their heart may be stolen away. Right? So though this form steals away material existence and all inauspiciousness, but the devotees worship this form so that their heart may be stolen away by the Lord whose beauty is like that of Kunda flower. These are the two meanings of the word Mukunda. One who steals away material existence, giver of liberation, and is also very beautiful like the Kunda flower. And therefore the devotee's heart is stolen away by Lord Mukunda. Suranatha Shiromani Sarva Gurum. And not just the devatas and the sages, but their master, Lord Brahma. This beautiful form is the crest jewel of the Lord of the Devatas. It is worshipped by the crest jewel of the Lord of the Devatas, who is Brahma. And therefore, Krishna is Sarva Gurum. He is everyone's supreme spiritual master. So Brahma is considered to be Param Pitamaha, everyone's Adi Guru. But Krishna is actually the original Guru or supreme Guru, Sarva Gurum. And thus, toward the end, the beautiful three Nam Sankirtan, Giridhari, Murari, Purari, Param. This Krishna is Giridhari, upholder of Govardhan. Murari is the enemy of Mura. And Purari Param. Purari refers to Lord Shiva. Param means this form is even more exalted than that of Lord Shiva. Thus, this most worshipable form is described here. We'll sing verse 7. Sura Vrinda Suvandya Mukunda Hari Suranatha Shiromani Sarva Guru Giridhari Purari Purari Param Bhaja Krishna Nidhim Brajaraja Sutam Sura Vrinda Suvandya Mukunda Hari Suranatha Shiromani Sarva Guru Giridhari Purari Purari Param Bhaja Krishna Nidhim Brajaraja Sutam. So now author is describing Krishna as all perfect, as all beautiful, but actually Krishna is not complete without Srimati Radharani. Therefore the last verse author describes that how Krishna attains his completeness only in the association of Srimati Radharani. So Vrishabhanu Suta Varakeli Param. Therefore he is fond of performing beautiful pastimes with the order of Vrishabhanu Maharaj. Vrishabhanu Sutavar Keli Param. And Rasaraj Shiromani Veshadharam. And therefore he manifests this most beautiful form. The whole form which is described here is Rasaraj Shiromani. The crest jewel of relishers of loving mellows. So this beautiful form helps Krishna enjoy the sweetness of rasa in Vrindavan Dham, which also fills our heart with that sweet nectarian love. And thus, Jagadishwaram Ishwaram Iddevaram. He is the Lord of the universe, Jagadishwaram. Ishwaram, He is the only Lord. And Iddevaram means He is most worshipable. We'll sing the last stanza. Vrishabhanu Sudhavara Keli Param Rasaraja Shiromani Kesavaram Jagadishwaram Ishwaram Nityawaram Bhaja Krishna Nidhim this is the beautiful Vrajraj Shtastakam, and I'll just recall one or two beautiful pastimes Prabhupada to conclude with. Prabhupada, this is 1977, Prabhupada was sitting in his quarters at Juhu. He was very weak, and suddenly he hears there is a singing of a song coming from Juhu beach. And Prabhupada inquired, who is singing? And the devotee is told that there is a bhajan mandali who sings 12-hour kirtan. They meet once a month and they sing 12 hours kirtan, Radha Krishna bhajans and Mahamantra kirtan. So Prabhupada heard the sweet singing of Jayo Radhe, Jayo Krishna, Jayo Vrindavana, Shri Govinda, Gopinath, Madana Mohan, Jayo Radhe, Jayo Krishna, Jayo Vrindavana, Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohan. And Prabhupada told his servant, he said, take me to the balcony. He's very weak. And his servant has to struggle hard to take Prabhupada to the balcony so that Prabhupada could hear more clearly. Right? Because Juhu beach, the sound was coming from Juhu beach. And Prabhupada heard this bhajan very intently. And there were tears in his eyes. And he said, this is the purpose. This is the reason why we opened this temple. And we have opened this temple for this purpose. And then he said, we should daily have 12-hour kirtan. Right? In the Radha Bihari, that's what he said. So they were having 12-hour kirtan once a month. He said, this is the purpose. The glorification of the Lord, singing of Radha Krishna bhajan is the purpose of our temples. Another time Prabhupada came. Now this is Radha Ras Bihari were in a makeshift, temple made with some tin sheets. But the devotees made a new outfit on Janmashtami. And Mother Tungabhadra Devi, she had made a nice outfit. Prabhupada came and he took darshan of Radha Ras Bihari. His eyes were wide. He was very happy to see Radha Ras Bihari shining in beautiful new outfit. And then his face was, blossoming with joy. And then he came and he offered obeisances to Radha Ras Bihari, full flat. And then while offering obeisances, he lifted his head and he started smiling, looking at Radha Ras Bihari. And then he got up. And again he started looking and smiling at Radha Ras Bihari. And then devotees, they pushed Tungabhadra Mataji, forward that she had actually made this nice dress. They could see that Prabhupada is so pleased. So they pushed Tungabhadra Devi. And Prabhupada looked at her and he said, he understood. And devotees told that she has made this outfit. Prabhupada said, thank you so much. And he said, make thousands of such outfits for Krishna.
Wow.
Right? For Radha Ras Bihari. Thousands of such outfits. They were in a makeshift temple. Can you imagine? Right? No temple even today has thousands of outfits. But Prabhupada never thought small. He said, make thousands of such outfits for Radha Ras Bihari. And make Radharani more beautiful than Krishna. Then Krishna will never leave, he said. Right? So that was a very sweet pastime. So, just like the last stanza of his bhajan glorifies Krishna is Vrishabhanu Sutavara Keli Param. So Krishna is never complete without Srimati Radharani. So Prabhupada also substantiated that and said, yes, you dress Radharani even more beautiful, make her more beautiful than Krishna. Krishna will never leave. So in this way, this is a beautiful glorification of the Lord. And in this Purushottam Adhik Mas, we could all gather together, grateful for this opportunity to glorify this beautiful form of the Lord, sweet pastimes, and to remember Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Mahaprasade Govinda. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshuh Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. What a shame that such a nectar at Purushottam Mass conclusion has to end. So, all of you have drunk so much nectar. Tomorrow morning you may get indigestion. And therefore, Prabhu has arranged someone to the left of him to give you some neem juice so that this nectar is digested. Also, I feel it is injustice to the topic if it is not at all spoken. So since the topic was something and Prabhu was Purushottam, Adhik Maas and all of you acted as a uddipan for him to go to Vrindavan. I shall be telling you what you should do to buy the ticket to Vrindavan. From the head knowledge to the heart knowledge. Prabhupada has given us the head knowledge, Siddhanta. If you can bring it to the heart, then the heart will become Vrindavan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while dancing in front of Sri Jagannath, who is none other than Krishna, thinking of Vrindavan and being dragged to Vrindavan by Srimati Radharani in the core of her heart, said, Anyera hridaya mana, mor mana Vrindavan, mane vane eka kari jari, taha tomar pada dvaya, karaho jadi udaya, tabe tomar purna kripa mani. Said, Anyera hridaya mana. Other people's mind is in their heart. But Lord Chaitanya, who is none other than Krishna in the mood of the bhav of Srimati Radharani, said, Mora mana Vrindavan. My heart is Vrindavan. Mane vane eka kari jani. There's no difference between my heart and Vrindavan. And taha tomar pada dvaya. And there, if your lotus feet, karaha jadi udaya, if it comes, if it is placed in that place, then tabe tumar purna kripa mani. Then I will accept that that is your ultimate mercy. So, Prabhupada expressed that my temples are in Vaikuntha. And the topmost Vaikuntha is Golok Vrindavan. That's where Krishna resides. He doesn't leave a step from Vrindavan. He has given us access to actual Vrindavan. But unless we have a heart that is conducive, Vishaya chhadiya kabe, shuddha habe man, tabe hama hiribo Shri Vrindavan. He has given us a process. How to make our heart a suitable place that it really doesn't matter where we are. We can experience Vrindavan. I'm sure during this time, no one was thinking anything else. At least I was not thinking. Because anyway, I have no other seva now, other than just hearing. So let's go to the topic for today, and that is heart knowledge or the head knowledge to the heart knowledge. So, the head knowledge is called Siddhanta, the conclusion of all the philosophy. And when it is brought to the heart and it manifests in the body, that is called as Sadachar. Actually, the distance is only 15 to 20 inches. 20 if your neck is long like me. Otherwise, some people have short necks, so much easier to sing. But it may take for some millions of lifetimes. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudevam sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. It's such a short distance, but very, very long. But by the mercy of the Acharyas, they have given us a process by which you can easily bring the head knowledge to the heart knowledge. And that is sadhana. The process of faithful, strict, determined spiritual practices which actually help the conclusion of the scriptures to manifest. And then the book Bhagavat and the person Bhagavat are the same because they are walking their thoughts, their words, and their actions. Manasa, Vacha, Karmana. Anyone who comes in contact with them cannot but experience Vrindavan. It's amazing how Srila Prabhupada's followers, practically every one of them who have shared their first experience with Prabhupada, they said, "We just don't know what hit us. It was just completely kind of a mystical experience. It's not sentimental. None of these guys were sentimental. But they all expressed the same thing. Just we were kind of bowled over. And that was nothing but the pure love that Srila Prabhupada carried. Krishna prema. And that prema, can actually drown everyone in the rasa of Vrindavan, Brajaras. So how do we bring it from there to here? I remember in 2003 or 4, I don't remember exactly, in Radha Gopinath Mandir Chowpatty, we first started the Bhakti Shastri course for congregation. And after the full course was done, the first examination, so all the students were sitting for the exam, and His Grace Gaurang Prabhu called His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj to come and speak a few encouraging words to the devotees who were appearing for the first exam. Some of them were little in anxiety because they were taking an exam after 20, 25, 30 years. They were very happy they had left education. No more textbooks. But now again, even in Krishna consciousness. So one lady actually said, she said that I am seeing stars and the moon in the middle of the day. And in the room, everything went blank practically for her. So Maharaj was asked to come and share a few words. And he came and he said, I am going to tell you 2 verses. And I strongly recommend and suggest that these 2 verses you very nicely laminate and frame and put it above your Bhakti Shastri certificate whenever you get it. Because obviously many of us, once we get Bhakti Shastri certificate, we want to frame it and put it so that everyone knows we are Bhakti Shastri. भाई खून पसीना एक करके कमाया है. So he said, above that you put this verse, these two verses. And then he quoted that verse. This is the verse from the 10th canto, 78th chapter, 25-26. This is the verse spoken by none other than Balramji, addressing Romaharshan Sutta. So Balramji walked away from the battle at the end. He came at the end actually. So, the final battle between Bhima and Duryodhan going on, and he tried to stop it, and Krishna had other plans. Eventually Duryodhan was killed, and he got disgusted and he walked away again. And he traveled all over. And while traveling, he came to Naimisharanya. And at Naimisharanya, he saw thousands of sages sitting there. And they were being addressed by Romaharshana Sutta, the father of Ugrashrava, who spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sutta Goswami. So he came there. As soon as he walked into the assembly, every one of the sages who were sitting there, thousands of them, instantly got up, offered Balramji a seat, offered him beautiful worship, and, glorified him. And Balramji looked at Romaharshan, forget about rising and respecting. He didn't even acknowledge the arrival of Balramji. It is a fact, if you are sitting on the Vyasasana, even if the Prime Minister of the nation comes, you don't need to stand up because that's a very, very important seat. But at the same time, if your own Guru comes, at least you need to acknowledge. What to speak of the original spiritual master, Adi Guru. So Balramji looked there and he understood, because his expansion is Kshirodakshai Vishnu, who is a Paramatma in the heart of every living entity. Sankarshana Karnato Yashai, Garbhodashai, Chipayodhishai, Sheshascha Yasam Shakala. So Balaramji could completely understand the heart of Romaharshan. And he stood up, took a piece of dry grass and chopped off the head of Romaharshan on the Vyasasana. Can you imagine if internet was there at that time, social media? Murder on the Vyasasana by none other than Balaramji. What kind of a hot news it would have made. But before cutting his head off, he spoke these two verses, which is diagnosing the disease or the reason why he deserved to be punished in this way. So he says that Risher Bhagavato Bhutva Shishyo Dhitya Bahuni Cha Setihasa Puranani Dharmashastrani Sarvashaha Adantasya Abhinitasya Vritha Panditamaninaha Na Gunaya Bhavanti Sma Natasya Iva Ajitatmana. So he says in the first verse, he talks about the qualification of Romaharshan, how qualified he is to sit. Why is he qualified to sit on the Vyasasana? Risher Bhagavato Bhutva Shishya. He is the disciple of none other than Vyasadeva, the literary incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why this asana is called, irrespective of even if it is a chair with a regular cloth or a towel. It is Vyasasana, the asana of Vyasadeva, who compiled all the Vedic literatures. So anyone before sitting on this has to represent him. That's why this is called Vyasasana, Vyasapita. So, and imagine being a direct disciple of Vyasadeva. That's a very distinguished position, isn't it? Whose disciple are you? Vyasadeva. Direct, nothing short of that. So here was a disciple of Vyasadeva. So Risher Bhagavato Bhutva Shishya Adhitya Bahunicha. He had whole Vedic literature on his fingertips. Unfortunately, that's where they remained. So Adhitya Bahunicha, he had studied all of them. Kanthastha. Kantha means neck, stha means sthit. It didn't become hridayastha, it became only kanthastha. So, adhitya bahunicha, sa itihasa puranani, dharma shastrani, sarvasha. It studied all the itihasas, all the puranas, all the dharma shastras, which talks about nature of this world, nature of how our dealing should be, everything he knew. So that is the first qualification. And the next talks about the reason for Balaram to take this action. Adantasya. He has not been able to control his mind and senses. Avinitasya. Vinita means humility. Vidya dadati vinayam. Avinitasya. He has no humility. When Lord Chaitanya, or when Nimai Pandit was told by his students that Keshav Kashmiri has come, the Digvijay Pandit who's conquered every scholar in all directions, and knowing that Navadvip is the high seat of learning, he has come here. And all the Navadvip scholars were shivering in their pants, literally. Everyone took leave of absence, except Nimai Pandit. So they thought, if he comes and Nimai loses, we'll say, Hamara bachcha tha wo har gaya bas. 16-year-old boy, he lost. If we were there, and if Nimai wins, we will say, bachcha ne hara diya. Hum hote to kya hoga? Both ways. It will become a very...
Like Prabhupada is chasing the rhinos.
Yeah.
Go for the rhino.
Chayoga bhi chalega. So they came and told Nimai, this is the fellow who has come, and everyone is talking about this, talk of the town. And Nimai smiled and told a very, very profound, Chaitanya Bhagavat speaks this beautiful, very sweet verse, must be memorized by every sincere devotee. सुनिशिष्य गणेर वचन गौरमणि हासिया कहिते लागी लेना तत्ववाणी. After hearing his disciples or his students talk, Lord Chaitanya or Nimai Pandit smiled. Hasiya kahite lagi lena tattvavani. He spoke some very profound truth. Shuno bhai sahab ei kahi tattva katha ahankara na sahina ishvara sarvatha.
Hare Krishna.
He said, I am telling you some truth. Please listen, my dear brothers. If one thing the Lord does not tolerate in anyone's heart, that is pride, false pride. Ahankara na sahina ishvara sarvatha. Je gune matta hoi kare ahankar avashya ishvarataha kare na sanhar. Je gune. Whatever, somebody may be very thinking, I'm such a good singer. Somebody may be thinking, I'm such a good cook. I'm such a good this, I'm such a good this, I'm such a good warrior. Whichever quality specifically you think that you are master of. Je gune matta hoi kare ahankar avashya ishwar taha kare na samhar. He specifically, surgical, like perfectly going to that. And he does surgical repair. Avashya Ishwarataha. And then he says, Phalavanta vriksha ar gunavanta jan, namrata se tahara swabhava anukshan. A tree laden with fruit and a person decorated with good qualities bend down low always. Because a person, the more he knows, the more he realizes how less he knows. How much do we know? What do we know? Even Brahma, he has 4 heads, huh? And his body is made of intelligence. He was thinking specifically, I am the creator. And creation aspect itself, Krishna humbled him. He created 3 sets. And Brahma could not detect which is my creation. These are original, that is duplicate. Or that is original, this is duplicate, which I hid there. Or both are original, my head is going duplicate. What's happening? What's happening? Creator Brahma. And when he went in Dwarka and told, I have 4-headed Brahma. Oh, acha, that is your identity. Head is your identity. He called Brahmas millions of heads. Billions of heads. Don't ask me how they balanced it on one body. First time I heard it, ये बहुत ज़्यादा फेंक रहे हैं. हद हो गया. What kind of millions of heads? How can you balance? We have some hydrocephaly. So it's amazing. So he says, and then he gives example. What kind of Digvijay Pandit? He says, Hay Haya Nahusha Veda Bana Naraka Ravan Bujha Dekhi Kar Garva Churna Nahi. He said, Hay Haya, Kartikeya Arjun, who had literally 1,000 hands. Nahusha, who was put in the Indraloka on this, with his self-same body. By the demigods they called him and put him. Hayhaya, Nahusha, Vena, Bana, Naraka, Narakasura, Ravana. Digvijayi Shuniya Chho Jejejan. Think about all the Digvijayis who proudly went around conquering the whole world, thinking that they were, somebody had Bahubal, somebody had Sainyabal, somebody had Dhanabal, somebody had Buddhibal. But all that bala, they became proud and it was crushed to powder. So, Bujho dekhi kar garva churna nahi hoy, avashya ishvara ahankar nahi soy. So, here was Romaharshan. Adantasya avinitasya vritha panditamanina. And vainly he thought himself to be a great scholar. Vritha panditamanina. Na gunaya bhavanti sma. He has no qualities, good qualities. And therefore, his speaking, eloquent speaking, is like natasya iva. Nata means an actor who has very nicely memorized his talk, but has no realization. Sometimes, we, during Narsing Chaturdashi, we catch hold of some 5-year-old fellow who is good in memorizing verses. And we teach him some Prahlad Maharaj verse. And then he goes. What is that first verse? Glorification of Hiranyakashipu. Tat sadhu manye suravarya dehinam sada samudvigna dhyam asadgraha hitvatma padam grahamandhakupam vanam gato yadharima. Everyone claps with tears in their eyes. Wow. He has no idea what he's speaking. He's only thinking of the next verse. After that dialogue, I have to speak this. That's good. Some imitation of a good thing is better, Prabhupada says. Better than not doing anything. So, here is this person speaking, but actually he has no realization of his talk. And therefore, and not only that, he's so proud. All these people are listening, thousands of sages, and I'm speaking. So, this verse is only as Radha Swami Maharaj asked. He said, you write it down and put it above the Bhakti Shastri certificate. I don't know whether the students did it or not, but our teachers grew. In their office, they put this. You know, how the knowledge, yes, jnanam vijnana sahitam yad gyatva mokshase ashubhat. Krishna says in the Gita. Unless this jnana becomes vijnana or sakshatkar or realization, till then there is mokshase ashubhat, all the inauspicious things that are there within this world, within our heart, will never go away. And so therefore, the question arises, how to bring from here to here, from the head to the heart. I was speaking just yesterday on this same topic, and I was remembering many years ago, Her Grace Rukmini Mataji, Prabhupada's earliest disciple, one of the earliest disciples. She took initiation in 1967 from Prabhupada. She had come to our temple, and she was asked by devotees to share her, meeting with Prabhupada. And she has a very sweet voice. So she was sitting and, singing Radha Madhava. And I was sitting like this, a little behind there. So, and I was looking at her. And frankly, I tell you what I was thinking. Wow, she's looking so beautiful. And the fact is, she looked very beautiful. She was in her late 60s probably at that time. Somehow in my early days, in my school days, I had some unique, I don't know what I'll say, a unique thing will happen in my head. When I would see an old person, I would think how this person would have looked when they were a child. I would picturize. And when I look at a child, how you look when he grows old. A grand old person, how will he look? Probably that's why I take to spirituality early. I looked in the mirror, bhai, abhi sudhar ja jaldi. I don't know how long you're going to stay. So I was thinking, my God, when she got in, she must be in her teenage or early 20s. Now she's looking so beautiful. How much she must have looked beautiful at that time. Then I said, hey, you're a brahmachari. You're sitting in a temple in front of the deities. You're looking at someone in the Vyasasana and you're thinking these mundane thoughts. She's looking beautiful. Fire upon. Then I put my head down. I said, throughout the lecture, I'm not going to look at her face. And then she began speaking. And then she said, her first interaction with Prabhupada she was sharing, and then she said, when she took initiation, so Prabhupada was sitting on the Vyasasana, and people would come, offer their respects, chant the mantra, and then, kneel down and sit, and Prabhupada would offer them the beads, and after taking the vows, and then give the name. So she came, she offered respects, she sat down, and Prabhupada, it seems, looked at her straight in the eye. And he said, oh, you are so beautiful. She said that. She herself said that. And I raised my eyes. I said, wow. I am in parampara. Mahajanavayena gatasapant. So after that I looked straight, as I said, beauty is there, Krishna is the beauty. He says, buddhir buddhimatam asmi balam balavatam cha. So, then he said, your name is Rukmini Devi. Because Rukmini was so beautiful that Shishupal, when he first saw, actually Rukmini was putting her head down with the pallu down, but she wanted to see whether Krishna has come or not as she was walking. And then she is described with her little finger, she raised all her beautiful curly hairs. She just lifted and glanced. He fell off, Shishupal fell off the elephant. Imagine her beauty. He actually, literally straight, fainted just by one glance. So, he said, your name is Rukmini Devi. And then he gave her the beads. And then she said, Prabhupada told me a statement which I am meditating for last 35 or 40, whatever, years. He said, oh, you're looking so beautiful. Your name will be Rukmini Devi Dasi. And after giving the beads, he said, now I want you to become beautiful from within. And she said, since then I'm simply meditating. He gave me a lifetime project. And she was telling, what does it mean to become beautiful from within? No? So I was reminded in my 8th standard, we used to have what is called as, I had taken Sanskrit as a first language. So we used to have this Subhashitas. Subhashita means some, Niti, from the Niti Shastras they are taken. Some favorable, auspicious statements. And there it was speaking about the beauty, says, Narasya Abharanam Rupam. Abharana is ornament. So a person's ornament is his physical feature. If a person is very beautiful, you feel like looking again. Sometimes did I see the same person? Sometimes you want to see the third time. If someone is beautiful. So narasya abharanam rupam. Rupasya abharanam gunaha. Somebody may be extremely beautiful physically, but what beautifies the physical beauty are wonderful qualities. It is described in the whole of Ayodhya, Kaikeyi was extremely beautiful. Therefore, after her marriage to Dasharath, Dasharath rarely would visit the other wives. There were cobwebs in other wives' homes. And Dasharath would always be there in Kaikeyi's home. But the day Kaikeyi met Manthara and got into her conspiracy thoughts, she became so hard-hearted and cruel that she sent Ram to the forest for 14 years. It is said that any Ayodhya-vasi who saw Kaikeyi would instantly turn away their face in disgust, go and take bath in the river with their clothes on, just to purify themselves. Nowhere does it mention that Kaikeyi became ugly. Kaikeyi had the same beauty, but nobody wanted to see her face. Why? Because she became so hard-hearted and cruel, influenced by the evil-minded Manthara. Sangat sanjayate kama. So, rupasya abharanam guna. And then gunasya abharanam jnana. You may have a wonderful quality, but that quality to be, you leaving? Okay. This is my worshipable senior, Sridhar Ramanna. He is, when I was doing my BSc and MSc in speech and hearing, he was my 1 year senior to me, and he has so mercifully come to give his darshan to me, along with his good wife. Mataji name? Swati. So we would like to express our gratitude in our traditional style. Haribo! Thank you so much for coming. Hare Krishna. They have to drive 1 hour right from here now. So, narasya abharanam, rupasya abharanam, gunasya abharanam jnanam. If that quality is not founded on solid knowledge, then it's very kamala dalajala. It won't stay stable. You know? For example, when Arjun showed compassion on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Kripaya paraya vishto vishidan idam abravit. Krishna chastised him, saying, Klaibyam masma, don't fall to impotence. This is not compassion, this is weakness of the heart. Compassion shown to the right person, the right place is glorious. But compassion shown to the enemy on a battlefield by a Kshatriya warrior is impotence. So, and then after speaking the whole Gita, he showed compassion by fighting against his apparent worshipable seniors, but because they are standing on the wrong side of the adharma, of dharma. So, jnanasya, gunasya abharanam jnanam, jnanasya abharanam kshama. And that knowledge is ornamented by compassion, love, forgiveness, born out of devotional service, bhakti. You know, in the story of Mrigari we find it is described, he was black and, literally looked like Yamaraj. And with eyes which were red, he was very cruel looking. And after associating with Narada and taking up the process of bhakti, when he met Narada again a year later, along with Parvat Muni, when he ran to offer obeisances to him, he cleaned the floor and then offered. And Parvat Muni asked, "What are you doing?" He said, No, there were some ants. He didn't want to hurt an ant. The person who was killing animals half, and taking pleasure in seeing them suffering, writhing in pain, wouldn't hurt an ant now. And that was the power. Nowhere it mentions Mrigari became beautiful. He was the same. But he became so attractive that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking about him. Eons later to Sanatana Goswami. So really, what attracts, like Srimati Radharani is called Madan Mohan Mohini. Krishna is Madan Mohan. He is so beautiful, even Cupid is attracted. But he is attracted by Srimati Radharani. Why? Because she has devotion. There are 6 qualities of pure devotional service. And the last one is Sri Krishna Akarshini. Sri Krishna Karshani Chasa. Bhakti is so powerful that it attracts even Krishna. Little Prahlad's love attracted the Lord to come from the Vaikuntha, break the pillar and come out. That's the power of his devotion. So, how do we bring the head knowledge? The ultimate goal of all scriptures is Purushartha, Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. But Prema Pumartho Mahan. The ultimate attainable goal by all studies of scripture is basically to develop love for Krishna. Prema Mahadhan. We are talking about Dhan, right? The ultimate Dhan. That treasure is love of God, which is dormant in the heart of everyone. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kabunai. It's there. That love of God is dormant within the heart of every living entity. It just needs to be awakened, revived. And that is possible. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Koroye Udoy. And that is the process of bhakti through sadhana. So, we may be chanting for a long, 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 long time. Sometimes you wonder, are we really progressing? This is every sincere devotee's question is, am I really progressing? My beads are becoming very smooth and round and practically shiny and dissolving also. It's becoming smaller and smaller. But my heart is still rough-edged, not even smoothened. Any sincere devotee feels like that after years. So, what is the test? How do we know actually? If we are developing a taste for, because what is the proof of love? To love means to serve with a desire to please. Otherwise, love in the bhakti conception is not a noun, it is a verb. It is kriyapada. That's why Prabhupada translates bhakti as devotional service. It is seva, premamayi seva. So, what is sadhana? Sadhana means to purify our heart. Adav Shraddha, Cheto Darpanam Arjanam Bhava Mahadava, Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam, Vidyavadhu Jivanam, Ananda Ambudhi Vardhanam, Pratipadam, Purna Amrita Aswadanam, Sarvatma Snapanam. So the process of chanting, beginning with chanting all the 9 processes of devotional service, which are not taste for devotional service, is a proof that our sadhana is actually happening, working. Because when we say, Prabhupada translated the Hare Krishna Mahamantra as, O Supreme Attractive Lord Krishna, O Reservoir of Pleasure Lord Ram, please engage me in your devotional service. So we are asking for that service. When that service comes of its own accord, to the result of sadhana is taste for seva. Whenever we get an opportunity to serve in whatever way, that is a result of that sadhana sinking to the heart gradually. That the heart appreciates, understands, as Anantacharya replied to that person who had come from Srirangam to Tirupati just to ask one question, who is a Vaishnava? And after 6 months of testing him, Anantacharya told him only 4 statements. Kokkai pol irukkum. Everyone understands Tamil here? Nobody, I can speak anything and get away. Kokkai pol irukkum. You should be like bagula, like a stork. Koliye pol irukkum. You should be like a hen. Uppai pol irukkum. You should be like salt. And ummai pol irukkum, like you. So that fellow didn't understand. He asked for purport. He said, go back to Sri Rangam and ask your guru. Again he came back after 6 months. And his guru went into ecstasy. And he explained that kokkai polarukum, that meaning like a stork. It seems like we say bagla bhagat. I heard this term bagla bhagat. Actually it's not a very good term. Bagla bhagat means bagla standing in samadhi but looking for the fish. So a person who is acting like a saintly person but thinking of his sense gratification is called bagla bhagat. But that's not what Anantacharya referred. Stork means it stands on the shallow water, still, simply meditating on the fish. A little fish comes, little bigger one, little medium size. When the big fish comes, just grabs it. So similarly, in the river of time, when a devotee is sitting, sometimes pleasures in the mode of ignorance comes of its own accord. He says, Janadu, let it go. Pleasures in the mode of passion comes. That also he allows it to go. Pleasures in the mode of goodness comes. That also he let it go. But when an opportunity for devotional service comes, he grabs it. So, test of our sadhana is how much are we developing love for the Lord and anything in relationship of the Lord. And eventually, service becomes, in fact, devotion is equal to, synonymous with seva. Synonymous with seva. And a devotee, even Hanumanji tells to Ram, when Ram asks for a blessing, Hanumanji says, "My Lord, if yatha Prabhu aham Dasa ityatra vilupyate." If there is, nay, not that. He said, this is Rupa Goswami quotes in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. He said, Prasiddha Hanumad Vakya. He said, I don't want mukti if there is the conception of you are the master, I am the servant is lost. To hell with that liberation. You know, I don't want that liberation. Even Kapila tells his mother Devhuti in 3rd canto Bhagavatam, Mat sevaya pratitam te salokyadi chatushtayam nechanti sevaya purna kutonyat kala viplutam. Are, what to speak of treasures of this world? Mat sevaya pratitam te, my devotees are so satisfied with that service that salokyadi chatushtayam, salokya, sashti, samipya, sarupya, forget about sayujya. Even if the other 4 is given, he says, but seva hai kya? Seva nahi hai, to hell with it. I don't want it. Nechanti sevaya purna. They are so happy, so satisfied. There is a story of Anantacharya again. One day Anantacharya is picking flowers because he's been told by his guru Ramanujacharya to do pushpaka inkarya to Balaji. You know, if you see, Balaji has a lot of flowers, always flower garland. So he is personally, right next to Tirupati Balaji temple is that place, garden of Anantacharya. Very beautiful place where he would personally make. So one day he was plucking flowers and a snake, poisonous snake, bit him. So the disciples came and said, Guru Maharaj, you have been bit by a snake, do something about it. He said, just mind your business and allow me to mind my business. Okay? Go. Because he was getting late, he has to offer flowers to Balaji. But they, no, poisonous snake, you may die. Just mind your business, allow me to do mine. And the 3rd time the disciples, they were concerned. How can the disciples keep quiet? When the 3rd time they said, he said, look, listen. If that snake has more poison than what I have in my heart, then he will live. And if if I have more poison than him, if I have more poison than him, I will live. And if he has more poison than me, I will die. So if I die, I will take bath in the Virja Nadi, go to Vaikuntha and serve this same sarva there. And if I live, I will take bath in Swami Pushkarani and serve the Lord here. Ki farak pehanda hai? What difference does it make? If I'm living, if I die, I'll go and serve there. If I'm living, I'm served here. सेवा चालू रहेगा ना, अपना काम करो, मुझे अपना काम करना. This was his consciousness. Narayana para sarve na kudaschana bibhyati swarga apavarga narakeshu apitulyartha darshan. So this was the consciousness, that seva. I will like to share with you my personal, my one incident that happened in my life where I did a big offense to Srila Prabhupada, but it was answered many years later. Somebody had told me, don't watch the last video of Prabhupada, the final lesson. How many of you have watched that video? Only one, only two. Please don't watch. That was what was told to me. But my nature of my mind is like everyone else. When you say don't watch, the mind says, let me just once watch what I'm not supposed to watch. And I became desperate to get that video. And I watched it. And I'm telling you, please don't watch. It's extremely painful. You know, the last few days and the final ceremony, last rites of Prabhupada is extremely painful. To see one who has seen Prabhupada, you know, conquering and going, and all the reporters, left, right, center, they are blasted and, you know, speaking like a lion. To see him just skin and bone in the last days is actually very painful. And there, practically just 2 days before he departed from this world, Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj is holding a microphone like this, literally to his mouth. And somebody is reading the Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 14th chapter, purport. 13th purport. 13th was the last, Brahma Vimohan Leela. So they are telling the purport, they are telling the verse, and Prabhupada is giving the purport. And it's like very, very, practically no, breath, and still his perfect purport is like Bhishma Pitama. Arrow pierced throughout, about to die for 6 months, lying, literally days together lying on the battlefield on the bed of arrows, but speaking the essence of Dharma to Dharmaraj. Nothing short of Dharmaraj. What clarity he must have, in spite of all that pain. So Prabhupada is speaking such perfect philosophical conclusion. But I was thinking, why this itna bada drama? Hari is already established ISKCON, he's already established GBC. One thought from inside, another thought also there. But one somewhere, this typical materialistic, mundane, rational intelligence. What is the need to do all of this? Relax. Now your disciples are doing, books are distributed, ISKCON established. If a few chapters are not done, chodo na. Work on your health, come all right. So this thought came to my mind. Then I said, Krishna, 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 this is great of him. Srila Prabhupada, please forgive me. But still that mind said, Phir bhi, why is he doing it? What is the necessity? It's good or relaxed. So somewhere it was in my mind. The question was not answered. And then many years later, we were in Vrindavan, and then His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj was speaking about his relation with Ghanshyam Baba, that he writes in the Journey Home. So Ghanshyam Baba was an old person, he found this Gopi Jan Vallabh deities. Since he found it, 24 hours he was only serving them. And he was so old, he would get one bucket of water from Yamuna, which was like, a few yards away. He would walk 10 feet, right down. He would put down his bucket. He would be puffing and panting because he was so old, so weak, he just couldn't. And Maharaj at that time was like 18, 19 and young American, vibrant. So he would say, Baba, you give it to me. He would snatch it. He said, no. I am Gopijana Vallabh's servant. You are his guest. You should not do it. You go sit there. I'll come. No. So there will be like a tug of war to grab the bucket and you would just take it. No. You are guest. I am the servant. Eventually, of course, Maharaj was very strong and he was a little weak. So he successfully pulled out from his hand. And at that time, Ghanshyam Baba started, crying. He said, please, don't take away my only service. You can do so many services, but this is my only service to Gopi Jan Vallabh Prabhu. If I can't do this, there is no meaning to my life. He identified with that service. This was his life. बोलते हैं ना प्राणा छे जार से. So this was his life. And if you take away this, you're taking away my life. There's no purpose to my existence. When he said this, years ago what I had seen, it just clicked to me. Oh, this is it. Prabhupada was ordered by his guru. You spread this in the English language, this message of Lord Chaitanya in the English language all over the world. Chitte te koryo aikya. He existed, he lived. His life meant only for that sake. Otherwise there was no meaning to his life. Sometimes now seeing His Holiness Jayapatak Swami Maharaj, I mean, what inspires this personality? What is the engine? What is the fuel? Yeah? You can't imagine. Anyone else could have relaxed and served by his disciples. But is there little bit energy he gets again back? Anyone else, the kind of thing he has gone through, kidney transplant and this and that and some cancer, some skin spot, that to be removed. But never say die principle. As long as, there is life, this service has to go on. So, it's very difficult for us to understand. But this is what true love is. To love means to serve. That service becomes the life for the pleasure of the beloved. And that service attracts the mercy of the Lord. That attracts the mercy of the Lord. Just like, you all know that story of Dukhi becoming Sukhi, right? Chaitanya Charitamrita. So she is Chaitanya Bhagavat also. So she is serving somewhere there. Servant of the servant of the servant. Lord Chaitanya notices that. And he fills her heart with love. And she becomes blissful and joyful. Just because she is taking a humble, menial position to serve. In fact, that's why, it is said, Mad Bhakta Puja Vedika. More dear than serving Krishna is when the devotees are served. Krishna showed special favor to Kunti and Vidura only for one reason. Because they did everything to serve the Pandavas. Pandavas were the life and soul of Krishna. And whoever served the Pandavas and whoever hurt the Pandavas, they became Krishna's enemies. Samaham sarvabhuteshu. Actually, Krishna has nothing to do. As Prabhupada said, love me, love my dog. If you go to the dog and, ooh, Tommy, and master becomes so pleased. And you glorify the master, for 15 hours and kick the dog on the face. Don't be surprised if that fellow kicks you on your face. He told Vidura, like a bird under the wings protects its children, you protected my dear Pandavas. So many times in Mahabharata he says, friends of the Pandavas are my eternal friends. Enemies of the Pandavas are my enemies. So the devotees are so dear to the Lord. And it is an easy access to the heart of Krishna. If you just please the devotee. And what do devotees want? Little prasad. And then, santushta ho gaya. You don't know whether Krishna is pleased or not. He is always smiling. He is very tolerant. Whatever he does, he says he is fine. But devotees, you clearly know whether they are happy or not. And you also know how to please them. So it's such a sweet and a nice thing that Srila Prabhupada has established this, in NOI 4, that 6 loving exchanges verse, Dadati Pratigrinati Guhyam Agyati. Prabhupada makes a statement. This movement was started single-handedly But just because of these 6 loving exchanges, it is now expanding all over the world. So this movement is meant for this love. Every soul is thirsty and hungry for unlimited eternal love. And no individual can give that love. Only Krishna's love is unlimited and eternal. And Srila Prabhupada established this society simply for this exchange of loving relationships. It's like I give the example of a mineral water bottle. How much does it cost here in Atlanta?
$1.
$1. Okay? 1 liter? 1 liter, $1. Suppose I buy that bottle from the shopkeeper, I drink the whole water and give back the bottle and say, give me now 3/4 of $1 back. What do you think? You'll do it?
No.
You say, the dabba bhi tu hi rakh, bottle bhi tu hi rakh. What am I to do with it? You are paying not for the bottle, you are paying for the water. So structures, temple, is a structure to facilitate these 6 loving exchanges. What quenches the thirst? I was told some church is being purchased, which was becoming a mosque, and now it is becoming a temple, I was told. So the structure is the same. But what really fulfills that structure is the function of loving exchange between the devotees keeping Krishna in the center. You know, why do we, so please tell me, how many of you feel water is important? How many of you feel bottle is important? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So whoever has not raised, from tomorrow onwards, don't carry a bottle, dare you carry. Please note it down, Prabhu, who has not raised his hand. उनके हाथ में बॉटल देखना तो मेरे को नाम भेजना. Actually, water is important. But if you want to keep the water for a long time, for a long journey, or you want to distribute that water, you need a container. So, water is the real essence. 6 loving exchanges is the only purpose of sharing Krishna consciousness. However, to do it for a long time peacefully and to share with the whole world, we need structures. His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj one time made a very interesting statement. He said, elegant temple structures, beautiful deities, melodious kirtan, sumptuous prasadam, mind-boggling philosophy will attract people to come to the temple. But loving exchanges among devotees will retain them in the long run. So what people are looking for is actually loving exchanges. That is devotee care. Coming back to the purpose of our visit to America. Caring for each other. How to inspire and encourage each other. All the leaders should be asking this question. What would it take for each and every particular devotee to feel protected, inspired, and encouraged to remain active in the mission of Srila Prabhupada till the last day of their life? If this is what we keep asking and do whatever is the answer that comes out, then it doesn't matter where you are, you can experience Vrindavan. Jedina grihe bhajana dekhi, grihete goloka bhai. We can easily experience, but Prabhupada has actually given us access to Vrindavan. It's in our hands. It's a question of how we accept it, take it, and not just keep it in the head knowledge, but with sincere, determined, faithful effort in the association of sincere devotees. Gradually bring it to the heart. Tabe hama heribo Shri Vrindavan. Jai. head knowledge to heart knowledge ki.
Jai.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Extremely sorry, but after he spoke 1 hour, I said, "Itna dur aaya to मैं भी 1 घंटा बोलूँगा." I saw my watch, exactly how much he spoke. And I promise I didn't speak 1 minute extra from him.
His Grace Radha Gopinath Prabhu ki Jai. His Grace Damodar Prabhu ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So enlivening. Would anyone like to ask any question?
Question is, when should we go home?
अभी घरे ना जाइबो वन प्रवेश
Can you repeat that last sentence you said, A Dine something Vrindavana?
This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's prayer. Je dina grihe bhajana dekhi grihe te golok bhai. The day I walk and I see my whole family engaged in the service of the Lordships, I feel this is Vrindavan, because what are the Brajavasis doing in Vrindavan? Whatever they are doing, they're just doing it for Krishna's pleasure. That's Vrindavan. Each one is trying to enthuse, inspire and encourage each other just to serve Vrindavan. Even though they may have difference of opinion. Chandravali and Radharani have difference of opinion. No, left wing and right wing. But still, each is ready to become the servant of the other if that's what pleases Krishna. You know? So yes, there may be differences, but it's only ultimately, it is subordinate to Krishna's pleasure. That pleases, and I'm okay. Radhani says, if someone is able to better please Krishna, I would become a personal maid servant of that lady. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, last Antilila. She's ready to do that. And that's why Radharani is so dear to Krishna. Therefore, her service pleases Krishna the most. Because her heart is like that. Her only consideration, she has no other consideration. Her only consideration is what will please Krishna. Of course, that's a very high calling. Let's begin with one baby step. Yes, Prabhu.
So, Prabhuji, in your class you mentioned that sadhana should be faithful, strict and disciplined. And you mentioned that we should, referencing to the 2 verses that Srila Damodar Swami Maharaj said to focus on, you mentioned that the way we can avoid pride or thinking too much of oneself is to humbly serve the Vaishnavas, to serve the devotees. So, strict sadhana and service. Is there any other aspect to humbling oneself and making one closer to Krishna apart from sadhana and service?
Actually, all our sadhana is meant to bring us, is meant to purify our heart. And when the heart is purified, then it comes to the Swarupa. Jivar Swarup hoy Krishna Nityadas. Right? And so therefore, in fact, Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayur Das Das Anudas. So yeah, sadhana is meant to bring us to our constitutional position, which means to serve. So practically most of it comes under within that kind of category. Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Probably one question I had was that, is there any formula or that among the service that you like and service that you don't like but which is good for your purification and service that you like which is good for your nourishment, how much proportion one should do?
I can easily give one full seminar on this. uh, Interesting question. Damodar Prabhu not only does service but engages everyone in the service. Maybe he can answer this question. Still, I will just share my thoughts. It's one thing to speak very exalted philosophy, but it's another thing to actually, when you get down to actually doing. Ideally, we don't know what Krishna wants from us. Some general things are known. Chant 16 rounds, follow the 4 regulative principles, and serve as a servant of the servant. So that much we do. Scriptures are there. Shastra gives very broad guidelines of all types of services. Then the sadhus, it's like a funnel, for a little more. And then comes Guru, who specifically kind of gives, or his representatives who may give us some kind of services at some time. One is we kind of take guidance from a person whom we have faith, trust and confidence in. Faith that that person will give authentic information. Trust that he is our well-wisher, there is no hidden agenda behind his guidance. And confidence that he will give very mature, balanced and timely guidance to us. So look for such a person and then take guidance also. Plus, the Lord in the heart will also inspire. But there is a tendency in our conditioned state that we like to do some seva, we may not like to do some seva, like that. So that is okay. Doing some seva is better than not doing anything. But still, true seva is for the pleasure of the Lord. So what pleases Him, we don't know. So therefore, somebody who knows can actually guide us, tell us, and then we sincerely. And if he can't, we have to express. Like Dhruva was told by Narada, go back, no, nothing doing. So he gave second best, third best. But you have to express rather than, artificially acting on a level that we are not. Let's not be humble, let's be practical. Prabhu, this is not possible for me. So probably they mean, gradually tell us, okay, begin with this, maybe we can gradually do that, like that. But ultimately we need to, do something that will be pleasing to Krishna. Unless you have a contact with the Lord in the heart, you exactly know what Krishna wants. Till then we need to know somebody who knows and take kind of guidance. You want to add something?
Hare Krishna. What you said is perfect, but I heard from the devotees there are like 3 kind of services. One is I have to do, like sadhana is also in one sense ultimately our service, devotion service. And I'm asked to do. Like in the institutional, we are asked to do certain services. So, and other services are which I like to do. They are all within the realm of devotion service. So, that which we have to do, right? So that purifies us. We are gradually getting purified by devotional service. Chanting 16 rounds, we are getting purified. And which we have, which I'm asked to do, there are certain services. So when I asked to do those services, then we please our seniors, we please our superiors. And by that process, Krishna is pleased. So, then we get a lot of mercy in that. A lot of mercy, there is a great opportunity to quickly advance in devotional service. When I'm asked certain specific service, so in that there is a lot of pleasure of devotees, and I gain attraction towards hearing and chanting also. And other thing is I like to do, gradually which nourishes me. And And of course, then there is always a opportunity for doing that also. So that gives me encouragement, right? As per our psychophysical nature. So there is we should balance. So, a balanced life is the best. And Krishna, yoga or a yogi means balance. So in this way, a balance between these three will be healthy spiritual life. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, this I heard from Gaur Gopal Prabhu. So there are some things, some services you like to do. There are some services you have to do. And there are some services you are asked to do. What you like to do inspires you. What you have to do purifies you. And what you are asked to do is a way of expressing gratitude to the community, to the leadership, to the temple yatra, whatever. You need to balance. If you only do what you like to do, that can become sense gratification. If you only do what you have to do, it becomes a little burdensome. And if you're only doing what you are asked to do, it may become a little bit, tasteless after some time. So you need to gradually, if you can start liking what you have to do and what you are asked to do, that's nothing like, that's a very high platform. So, yeah. Yeah, we can take more questions?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone can leave, no binding here. You are asked to. You have to, or if you like to.
What's the inspiration? What was the inspiration behind the journey of self-discovery course? I think.
Arey, haan. Good. Thank you for reminding that. Actually, this journey of self-discovery course, I started doing it from 92 onwards. But in 87, His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj had given this full 7 days course in Bharati Vidya Bhavan, first time. So after that, there was another devotee, he took it up. And after 92, I heard that and I liked it. And when that stopped, that course stopped, I said, why is it stopped? And as I said, if I was not in Krishna consciousness, I would be a nice primary school teacher. I like to teach. Give me mic and audience, and this is my sense gratification to go on speaking.
Ours too, to hear from you.
In one satellite center where I go, they call me Mike Ka Lal. So, if Prabhu doesn't tell me, I can go on till Mangalarti starts now. So, I like to do it, and therefore I said, wow, this is such a foundational course in terms of gives us a solid foundation. Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala and Karma and their interactions. And then wherever I was traveling, I said, everyone said, "Arey, aapka 6-day course, 6-day course." And I started thinking about it. Why is it so appealing to anyone who hears with an open mind? It's because the logic behind the course is, it is the logical presentation of Vyasdev in Vedanta Sutra. The conclusion of the first day is Athato Brahma Jigyasa. This world is like that. Dukhalayam ashashvatam. Miseries that you can't avoid. Problems. And therefore inquire. Why? Dunya banane wale kya tere man mein samai? Kahe ka dunya bana? So inquiring. Is there someone behind this? Is there some manufacturing defect in this product? So the next is Janmadhya Seta. Does really God exist? So behind this creation, is there a creator so that I can catch him and ask him, kyun banaya? So, does God exist? Janmadhya Seta. To know that, Shastra Yonitvat. Scripture, the word of God. Because Pratyaksha Praman, Anuman Praman can't give you this. So therefore Shabda Praman. And then there are 3 aphorisms that talk, God has no name, God has no form, no qualities. That means this Supreme Lord is none of these powerful personalities in the universe. So God and, who's God? God and the Devatas. Then there is Anandamayo Bhyasat. Anandamayo Bhyasat means he expanded into many for his pleasure. So who am I? I am part and parcel of him, eternal, full of knowledge and blissful, meant for serving him. That's my constitutional mission. Now he expanded into many for his enjoyment, but why at our cost? Why do bad things happen to good people? And then the whole process of connecting back to him, yoga, and then practical application. So basically it's a very logical flow. Each devotee can put their own examples to make it more as per the audience and, some relevant examples. But the flow is basically 5, as Prabhupada writes. Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala and Karma and their interconnections. The connection between Jiva and Lord is yoga. And then this is Prakriti and Jiva is Karma, like that. They're all interconnected. So that's how we get it. With that understanding, if you read any of Prabhupada's books, you'll be immediately able to understand or appreciate it at another level. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, I was wondering what's the difference between devotional service and spiritual bypassing? Because many times as...
Spiritual bypassing?
Yeah. So, many times I see, sometimes I might look at a seva and be like, oh yeah, this is a seva, yeah, you have to do it. But after doing the seva, I'm not getting any relish from doing that. But yes, oh, this is for Srila Prabhupada, oh, this is to please the Vaishnavas. But I'm just doing it, and I've not received any nourishment from it. Many times I've also seen like devotees use this example of the Rati Prati Prinati, and they're like, oh, I mean, just give them prashadam, that's enough. Like, we don't need to complicate this by talking too much about Krishna. I guess I'm speaking more from the Western outreach perspective. Like, just, make good relationships with them, and, that, like, Krishna will take care. So it seems like we're kind of bypassing the Krishna to, like, satisfy some, so to say, instruction. I'm wondering what's the difference between that bypassing and actually...
There are some general strategies that the organization may adopt in a particular place as the overall strategy. There may be exceptions to the rule, but general strategy is, let's not, put them off by... Sometimes people become over-enthusiastic. Some of the, young enthusiasts can, go overboard a little bit in their enthusiasm trying to preach and, put off people in the name of trying to, like sometimes in the initial stage, when I caught hold of someone, during book distribution time, if he asked one question, I would give him a condensed Gita course. 2 hours I will be standing and that fellow will, that moment, and I was so overwhelming, he couldn't get away also. Literally I will hold his hands before. Next time he sees a Hare Krishna wala, he'll go 2 miles away. I was thinking at least some lifetime he'll come because he has heard the whole Gita course. So sometimes we may kind of overdo it. That's probably reason why, as a strategy, the local temple authorities may take one stance. But if someone is really suggests some strategy and which if it really works and brings result, why will not? They will surely. But general trend may be there like that, and gradually too, but everyone is not the same. Just like the bell curve, statistic, you have the bell curve. Broadly, there are some exceptions to the rule. So you find someone like that, you could try them out. But that's how I see it. But if you can propose, if you can suggest some things, and certain exceptions, we can take the chance to do it. Why not? Prabhupada always appreciated creativity also. Suddenly something would start, try that, if something works. But he was also careful if something was kind of like sending a wrong signal to the society. Like Harinam, these people were doing in the West for hours and hours, and it was very popular. But the same devotees, when they did Harinam in Flora Fountain in Mumbai, people started throwing coins. And Prabhupada heard that, he immediately stopped it. He said, no, stop it immediately. Don't do it again. They should not think you as beggars. You are Americans, you should do something big. And within 20 days, they set up a stall, a pandal program in 1971. No help, no life, almost nothing at that time. They put up this huge balloon, helium balloon, for advertisement. I don't know where they got that money from. Even Shyam Sundar Prabhu, when he had come in 93 to our temple, he was said, I had no idea where we got that money, but within 20 days, we put up a program for 7 days for 20,000 people. It just happened. Some Krishna Shakti Binana Hitar Pravartan. Something was happening. Prabhupada desired, Krishna desired, and things were happening. Because Prabhupada wanted Bombay, Vrindavan and Mayapur, something solid before he departed. And Krishna was assisting whoever, Nachao Prabhu, he wanted to dance and anyone who aligned with him was already empowered. So even Shyam Sundar Prabhu was saying, we don't know how it happened. We did it. And then he said, of course, Prabhupada was there. He was inspiring us, do it, go ahead, do it, try. So he was encouraging. At the same time, some places he could see, if it's having penny wise, pound foolish, then he would stop. If you're getting two people to interest, but in the process you are frying out the whole, or getting a wrong name, bad reputation to the whole organization or the society, then it's not really worth it. So that needs to be discussed and understood. So creativity is encouraged, but at the same time not at the cost of reputation of the society in the eyes of the people at large. They should have respect and they should have appreciation for the society also. Does that make sense?
Yes, really. I was more speaking to this idea that we may do more seva, but it is not nourishing our heart. But the goal is, we must do seva. I've seen in my example and in other senior Vaishnavas' example, just do the seva, that's all. Don't think too much, but it is not nourishing the heart. But you're told by senior Vaishnavas, no, do it. So it's like, you're wondering, is this bypassing the real goal?
Keep doing it and Krishna will give some inspiration from the heart. Something wonderful will come out from that. That's how book distribution started in ISKCON. Amazing story. He didn't have money. He took the gas and then he paid, instead of money he gave. And that's how book distribution started. So something, creatively it kind of starts. So keep doing that and, Krishna inspires something from the heart and who knows, something wonderful may come up. Or Share. If you have some ideas, share it with the keep talking about it. Big revolution start. Keep talking about it. All the greatest revolutions started only by talking about it. So keep sharing, keep talking, keep discussing. If you have certain wonderful ideas. And probably some will hear it and it will eventually, while continuing to do what is being done, simultaneously suggest. Yes. मैं बोला ना माइक मेरे पास है.
So Prabhuji, what should be the yardstick or how to draw the line as to when one can do service? In the sense that sometimes we see, let's say in multiple cases we see